Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine Pitts. This is my self-reflection for week 5. When I first started the nurse practitioner program, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of I had a sense of our idea of what I was going into it for, but I didn't really fully understand the extent of it. And, looking back now, I'm very excited that I started the program, even though I'm still nervous because it's still in the beginning stages. But I can say that my anxiety and nervousness has decreased a lot. Coming in, I thought that the nurse practitioner role was one that fully stood on its own and just worked in partnership, in which that is a sense of what a nurse practitioner does. But a lot of states limit the regulations of what the nurse practitioner can do. The nurse practitioner role has been in effect since the late 1800s, in which that was something that I learned because I thought it was a fairly new role. But the first one was Miss Lillian Wald. She started a public health practice in Manhattan, and she serviced the poor, which is great because I come from a disadvantaged neighborhood. I didn't grow up with much, so it is just important that we don't overlook people who don't have the means or the value or the resources to have that appropriate care. And a lot of times in the disadvantaged communities, you see them at a later time and a more advanced disease process. So to know that in my role that I could go out and be that advocate for that type of community, I'm thrilled about that. It's been a lot of legal standings about nurse practitioners and what do they do and what is their role. And we are just advanced registered nurses. We have our skills as RNs, and now we're expanding upon those skills in addition to also there to take part in what the physician cannot. It's a growing population. A lot of people are getting older and living longer, and they're having a lot of health conditions, and the amount of physicians there are is not enough to service the community. So the nurse practitioner steps in that role to be that collaborator with that physician and provide that care. And another thing that I when I research, you see in a lot of research articles that nurse practitioners and help to improve patient outcomes. And that's the awesome thing too. So I just always think, what is it that I can do better for someone? What is it that makes me that factor for my next patient or that next family in my role? I want to leave my mark on everyone that I come in touch with. And I know that it's not always possible to fulfill everyone's goal in their healthcare, but I want to be able to know that, hey, I did this, and this, and I improved that patient's chances. According to a study in the Canadian Oncology Nursing Journal, NP's roles in palliative care within hospitals and community service indicated that the NP's practice contributed to fewer emergency department visits and hospital admissions and shorter stays in palliative care patients, which is great because, it looks at the whole person in palliative care. It's not just their medical condition. You're also looking at their spiritual, their emotional, and that's a big factor when it comes to people improving their health. Because if you don't have resources or you don't have support for families, then you're less likely to want to fight what that disease, or go and have those routine screenings that a lot of people don't do and that could save their lives. So to me, that is a great thing. in the practice of nurse practitioners to be able to help with that. You know, in the advanced practice nurse, there's so many different opportunities, and I took the nurse practitioner role, but before I've also looked into the informatics role, because like you get to deal with the databases, and you get to do the research, and I think that's a pretty exciting thing. But I like to be hands-on. I like to deal with my patients, so the nurse practitioner role was more of a fitting for me. um you know, the access to healthcare is improved with nurse practitioners, and now we're in a society where the consumer rules healthcare. I mean, they have the surveys. How did the team that you had provide for you, and that comes into a lot with financing and reimbursements towards hospitals and physicians. And I think that nurse practitioners are helping to improve that. Because I can say, when I go to the doctor and I see my physician, I love my physician, but I also know that it's so much of a strain on them, that they have so much going on, that sometimes I don't feel like I was able to discuss everything with them. But when I see the nurse practitioner for my physician, we get to engage more, and even if it's not more time, it just feels like she's there with me in more than my actual physician was. And that comes into play with having the active listening, the compassion, the empathy, and that comes from just being a registered nurse, because those are the things you encompass when you're taking care of your patients from day to day. And I just hope that in my role that I could do some research and help to improve quality in different areas, because there is a lot of room for improvement in healthcare in general. Some barriers that I saw, just in Georgia, is just the restriction on the NPs, that they can't fully practice. And it's kind of discouraging, but I was able to think past that and just realize that I'm doing it for the patients. I'm doing it for myself, to be able to gain that extra knowledge, and put it into my career. And all the negative things behind it, I just let it go. Well, I wouldn't say negative, but barriers, I let it go. Another barrier that I saw was the reimbursements to nurse practitioners. The current reimbursement, depending on Medicaid or Medicare, is 70 to 100%. And with depending on the practice, and really is at an 85% mark. And which is unfortunate, because we do some of the same things as the physician, but without that, we just don't have that medical license. So hopefully, in the future, it will be improved with state policies and regulations. And I was just looking at the advocate groups, and it looks like something that I would love to be a part of. And just not knowing about all these things before the course, and now knowing them, has just opened my mind and broadened my horizon, and I'm just so excited about it. Initially, when I started the program, I was going to do the adult gerontology nurse practitioner, but as I've been going through everything, I decided to change my major to the family nurse practitioner, because I didn't want to limit myself. There's already limitations on our role and what we can do, that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to limit myself in my practice. So, and I never know where life may take me. So I want to have everything that I can have, I want to have it. And so I decided to change to family nurse practitioner. So that's a big change in my journey, starting from where I was, and just realizing the potential that I may have on someone's family member. So, You know, in all, the advanced practice nurse is an awesome role to achieve. You know, even if you don't do the nurse practitioner, there's, you know, nurse executive, nursing informatics, the CRNA, which I think is awesome if you have that ability to be a CRNA. So in nurse leadership in general is in nurse education is really good because we always need those educators. And even in the NP role, you can, you know, transition to being an educator in some type of format, you know, either it's in the hospital, you know, educating the, you know, nurses, or educating the leaders in there about different disease processes and different ways to manage it, or in the realm of school where you're helping, you know, nursing students become the best that they can be. So, you know, where I'm at, I say don't limit yourself, you know, do your full potential in everything. And I hope that my journey continues and continue to grow in this journey. And I feel fairly good now. Like I said, I still have a little anxiety because, you know, we haven't dug right on into it. We touched the basis of it, the foundation, which is great because that's what you need, that foundation. But you know, I'm just excited to continue on forward. Thank you. I hope everyone likes my video. You know, just give me your feedback, and y'all have a good day.